two in a row now. So it's not too bad. But over at the shop, I've been cleaning. This camera kind of dirty. I've been cleaning a bunch of stuff up today because I'm just kind of getting some stuff ready because I don't have any stuff or parts to work on the charger. So I'm waiting on rotors, which I might just use the old Trackhawk ones because they seem pretty fine, but then I could get some better ones later on. But rotors, front brake lines, and I was trying to get some pictures from Cook's, the headers, so I could figure out if the long tube headers stick far enough out on the Chargers and Challengers because they look like it, but it's really hard because nobody actually takes pictures after they install them from like underneath the car. So it looks like the Cook's headers kind of stick like further out, almost all the way up towards and almost touching that frame rail on both sides. So that give me a lot more room. Plus, if it does that, it'll clear the front differential and the front drive shaft and the transfer case and everything. So plus it'll make my steering situation like a million times more simple. So hopefully I hear back from them. I think I know what size wheels I need. I got a tool to measure wheel offset just so I'm 100% sure. And I think it's 20 by 11 plus 38, which for some reason is like a very common Trackhawk offset. So that'll be awesome. But I'll have to get some wheels ordered. For now, I'm gonna get the alignment done with the Trackhawk wheels on it though, just so once it's aligned, then I'll know if it's if the offset's still good. Because right now the front camber, it looks a lot more than what I measured. It shows that it's like measuring like 0.8 camber in the front, and it looks like it's quite a bit more. So hopefully I could get this thing aligned, figure out all the offset after that, order the wheels. I'm going to still run the same size tires. They're going to be 315 35 20s. I thought about running 315 45 20s just because I'd have like a little bit more sidewall. But I don't know. It's kind of getting into like it almost would make me feel like it's a monster truck, even though it's not. But we'll see what happens. I might end up running the 45s, but I'm gonna try to figure it out once I get the wheels and stick some tires on them and then look at it. And because right now the factory Hellcat tires on Trackhawk wheels look like they look super thin. So they look like I don't know. To me, they just look really thin. In the Hellcat, my Challenger, the tires in the front are still, so these are the 305s, but they're on 10s instead of 11s, so they're not stretched. But on the rear of my Challenger, I have 315s, which are still 35 series on the 11s, and they look pretty similar to this, but they're a little bit more of a sidewall. But even then, it's still a really thin sidewall. So I don't know if I want to keep it this way. I really do like it, but at the same time, the sidewall just is really thin for like the car that it is, for how heavy these things are. So plus the roads around here aren't the best, so the more of a sidewall that I have, plus I plan on driving across the country, and the roads across the country aren't the best. So we'll see. I might end up going with a 45 series sidewall instead of the 35, just to give me that little bit more cushion. But the ride height won't change, so we'll still have the same stance that I have right now. It's not sitting on the ground, obviously, because the front fork, I had to design one because I couldn't find one to work, and I sent it off to Send Cut Send, so I should have that this week. I could button up the front coil over to the lower control arm, and then she'll finally be off the lift, be able to actually push her off the lift and move her so I could finish wiring all the inside. Like I've said before, I didn't want to wire the inside because it was on the lift, and opening the doors on the lift is like a nightmare. So I didn't want to have to worry about like hitting a door on the metal lift. So hopefully we get those by the end of the week, I'll have that done. Push it off the lift. Wiring will be pretty quick. Once I get the inside wired, I can finally finish wiring the rest, everything in the back of the bumper. The bumper can go permanently on. Then the wheel wells can go permanently in. I might be able to, so I'm waiting for a guy to come and 3D scan some stuff, but hopefully, I've said this before, but hopefully by the end of the week, I could start designing the fuel tank. So then the fuel tank will be in there permanently. I won't have to run a fuel cell. We'll have the Aeromotive 3.5 gallon, I think they're gallon per hour, or I don't think it's gallon per minute, but gallon per hour fuel pump. And then I'll run all the lines and that'll be all finished. So hopefully by I'd say mid-December, the end of December, this thing will be running and driving, which is going to be really awesome. And the exhaust, I think I figured out how I'm going to do that. It should be pretty simple. I'm just going to make kind of so that piece that goes across underneath, it's like a support, not really a support bar, but it kind of connects both sides of the trans tunnel together. I think what it does is, so if the drive shaft breaks, it breaks and it hits that and it won't pogo stick into the ground. So I still want that in there. I designed one I'm going to send off to Send Cut Send, and it's going to have a little bit of a hump up. So then the exhaust can sit underneath it. And I think what I'm going to do is actually make some brackets that go to that for the X pipe, and then I'll weld them onto the X pipe, and then the X pipe will be supported. It'll just be one more exhaust hanger, which it'll be nice to have one extra exhaust hanger. We'll see. I might not do an extra exhaust hanger, but it'll be nice if I had one. Let's see what you guys are saying. Let's see. I have a 06 Dodge Charger RT and I want to upgrade the transmission, camshaft, and headers. What do you recommend? I don't know. I mean, you could, there's, I don't know about transmission on those, but you most likely could, you'd have to build the stock transmission and put a different style torque converter in it. And if it's an automatic, I'm guessing that's what it is. And then for cams and stuff, you can literally just, get an upgraded cam. I do valve springs, they're push rods still, push rods. You probably won't have to do much to the bottom end, but, and then, headers are pretty easy. A bunch of companies make headers. There's actually a few sets of 5761 headers local here on Facebook Marketplace. So, I mean, you probably could find some on Facebook Marketplace for pretty cheap, and then put a 180-degree thermostat in it. And I mean, it's pretty relatively simple. You're gonna have to either pull the radiators to put the camshaft in, or you're gonna have to drop the engine to, well, your most likely best bet is to drop the engine down so you can put the headers on anyway, because they're kind of a pain to do in the car. I know a lot of people do that, and then they just beat the headers in to get them to fit. I usually just end up dropping the engine down. It's a lot easier. And if you're going to put a camshaft or any of that other supporting stuff, I'd probably do some multi-layer head gaskets, just some preventative stuff to make sure that you don't end up blowing something up after you get it all buttoned up and drive it for a week, and then you're just mad. Let's see. What are your plans for the low windows? I've said this before. I'm just going to have a company make some glass ones and then have them tempered. Good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida. What's going on? Hello from South Carolina. What's going on? Hi from Scotland, Dave. When do you think you'll be able to start the engine on the Magnum Hellcat project? So the engine that's in it isn't the engine that's staying in it. So the engine and transmission that are in the Charger right now are going to go back into the Durango. And so I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen yet, but I might start working with a company. I'm not sure if it's going to go through or not, but either way, a built engine is getting put into the wagon. So I'm going to build a 426. The real determining factor of which way this whole situation goes is if I'm using the stock BGE block that I have sitting around and I'm going to build that, or if I'm going to use like a billet block and go from that, go that way forward. So we'll see what happens. I was going to pull the transmission apart today, the spare Trackhawk transmission, to start figuring out, make sure the case is good and the transfer case, all that stuff, so I can get all the parts to build that. But yeah, the build's going to start probably after the car starts running and driving, just because I want to get this thing driving. And by the time I, am able to test it and do some shakedowns and figure out what I need to change, or if something breaks and I need to modify it, which I don't know. I don't think anything's going to break, but there's always that possibility. Plus, another thing that I'm really, I can't wait till the 426 goes in the car, is because I'm going to have a dry sump system on it. So the pan is going to be a lot thinner. And once that thinner pan goes in there, I plan on raising the front differential up. I think I'll be able to raise it like 1.5 to 2 inches, which is going to help me out tremendously. Right now I have decent axle angles. They're within like usable range, but I would rather have them. To me, they're kind of sketchy, but I know people have Trackhawks and stuff on air that have worse axle angles than this, and they're like 1,000 horsepower Trackhawks, and they just launch them all day long. But eventually, I want to, like I said, raise that differential up just a hair. When I started this whole subframe project, I knew that was going to happen, and I did plan on that. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I'll just literally just move it up, and we'll be good to go once that dry sump pan's in there, and just kind of go from there. But yeah, the engine build is going to happen, in the transmission and transfer case build, and I don't think I need to build the front differential, but all of that stuff is going to happen after the car runs and drives, just so I can actually, be able to enjoy it a little bit, because I've been working on it so long. And that's another reason why I put the Durango engine in here, was because I was getting to the point where I was like, man, I've already been working on this thing for so long. If I build the engine, it's going to be like another, it'll probably be like another 6 months. So it wouldn't be until mid next year, which I want to do a bunch of stuff with this car next year. I want to take it to a bunch of events and, stuff like that. So I want it to just be continuously running and driving. And then when I put the built engine and transmission and transfer case in it, I want all that stuff already bolted together, so I could do that in like a couple days. So it's not like the car is just sitting for months and months and months, not running and driving. Once this car runs and drives, I want to just like continue to always be running and driving. And if the worst thing that could happen is like I blow a transmission up or blow an engine up or something like that, where then I have to wait, but at least then I'll have enjoyed it a little bit. So yeah, I really want to enjoy it. My camera looks like super dirty. I don't know why. It's like so like, maybe it's the sun. It's just like freaking it out or something. Let's see. Pulsar VVL SR. So there's a guy local that is selling a bunch of VVL parts, but I messaged him and he was kind of, he sounded like he didn't want to sell any of it. So I kind of want to do a VVL in the Pulsar, because it would be pretty cool. Plus he had a Pulsar GTIR block that was already built. I would have went through it, but it didn't have like that weird welded section that was that's on mine. And I think it's just a casting thing where they fix the cast, or the die, but it still sketches me out. So I might message him again and see if he's changed his mind. But when I talked to him, he was telling me he was wanting to sell me a P11 head, and I'm pretty sure the head that I have on my VVL is a P12. So I'd rather have the P12 head with the S13 SR bottom end, just pretty much the exact same as mine, but instead of being rear wheel drive bottom end, it'd be a front wheel drive or an all wheel drive bottom end. So yeah, and then I need to message this guy. He said that he might have some parts for a pulsar, so I could get some. I need a bumper support and like that, like I said, that clutch pedal and some other stuff like that. Just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff, and then I could get that thing kind of fixed and moving forward. I need to bring the VR4 down here in my friend's Volkswagen Synchro down here because I need to clean some stuff out. So I need to finish cleaning the main shop in here and get it ready to go so I could park the VR4 and some other stuff in here. I need to get some more. I need to get like a 4-post, which I want to put where the Durango's at, which would be nice. Then I could get, I could have like an extra space and have less stuff kind of in the way and kind of just clean the shop up. I mean, it's really hard to work on cars all day, and then when I want to go home, I don't feel like cleaning. I'm not gonna stay here for another hour and clean, and I really don't want to like stop an hour early and clean. So I just end up waiting until like a project's done, and then I end up cleaning once it's done. But the Charger's not done yet. It's just close to being done. So hopefully once she moves out I need to move her so I can put these lights up, but she doesn't roll yet. So hopefully by the end of the week, I could move her, put all the new LED lights up to replace these old halogen ones, and the shop actually will have decent lighting in here. And I've been needing to make that video, so that would be really nice. I have all these brand new LED lights right here, and they're pretty bright. They're by a company, Demlar, and they're pretty cheap. They sell them on Amazon. They're like, I think they're like $200 a pair, which isn't bad at all. So I need to get more of them. So there's 8 there. I was thinking about getting another 8. So I have 16, have like 4 in the main shop in here, or 4 in like the working shop. And then in I guess this would be considered the main shop. I would have like another like bunch of them, just lighten it up so I don't have any issues seeing stuff. That's most of my problems. Why I leave early is because it's either work with a headlamp in here with these old halogen lights, or it's go home. Go home, especially in the winter, because it gets dark at like 4, and yeah, I'm not gonna work on stuff with a headlamp. So let's see. Hey Dave, general tire question. Is it okay to run 2 different brand tires for front and rear as long as they are matching? I need to get new tires, but they were $250 a tire. It kind of depends on what kind of car you have. So like like a Hellcat, it really doesn't matter. The Trackhawk, it really doesn't matter because it's a electronically controlled front differential. But the Durango GT doesn't have, it's a full-time 4-wheel drive, and that, I guess, I don't know if there's clutches in the transfer case on those because the transfer case looked pretty small, but if there's not clutches in it, it's usually not good to, on like full-time 4-wheel drive, to run, like replace the tires not at the same time, like all of them, because then you end up wearing other stuff down, like this, like the STIs. A lot of people, it went from the people that had STIs when they first came out had money, and then it went from them to like Honda kids that barely could afford them, and then they found out that they like, oh, I blew a tire out. They replaced one tire, and then they blew their tranny up or their center diff up because the tires didn't match. And Subarus are very finicky about like the center diffs and matching tires and stuff like that. So are I think the R35 GTR also is like super finicky about the same thing, which is kind of weird because it's an electronically controlled front differential, and in the front differential gear, like the gear ratio in it is shorter, like way shorter than the rear. And that's why, like, when people try to do all-wheel drive donuts in R35 GTRs, it's why it always blows the transmission up, because the front differential, the gear ratio is way shorter. So it's just yeah, don't do all-wheel drive donuts in R35 GTRs. But yeah, it kind of depends. If it's rear-wheel drive, it really doesn't matter. And if it doesn't have if it's rear-wheel drive and doesn't have a limited slip, it really doesn't matter. So you can like not have the same matching tires side to side. It'll just kind of probably pull weird because of different treads. But yeah, I don't know. So I just got the rears. It makes, hold on, it makes too much sense for Dodge to make Magnum before they do away with naturally aspirated engines, and they won't. So the funny thing, I was thinking about, I forgot what video I was watching, but I was watching something and somebody was, maybe it was on one of my videos and somebody commented something, but they're like, it's kind of the same thing about how the V8, like, I think it was my inline 6 video where they're saying like, oh, it would have been nice if they would have put the, you know, the supercharged Hemi in something else before they got rid of them. And this same exact thing, like 10 years ago, word for word, was happening. So in, I don't know, like what's the year? We're in 2022. What is that? 2012, something like that. I think that's correct. 2012, they were saying the 2JZ, the RB26, inline sixes were, you know, this was the last year of the inline six, and the EPA isn't going to let them make anymore. Get them while you can. And I think this is like they just like regurgitate, car companies just regurgitate like this marketing ploy to get people to buy these cars because they're like, oh, I need to have this car because they're not going to make them anymore, which could be very, very true because we know the EPA is, you know, ran by a bunch of dumb shits. But it's just funny because they said the exact same thing about 2JZs, inline sixes, that they were never going to make an inline six, and lo and behold, the new Supra has an inline six. You know, Dodge is going all inline six. And it's just funny. It's like the same thing. So I feel like the Hemi and the V8s are not going anywhere. You know, they'll probably have like a low production number, and then they'll just be like, oh, they're back, and then people will buy them up again. It's just like Pokemon cards. Like, I don't know. It's just like anything that's people are like tied to and have like strong feelings for, and then they kind of use those feelings against you because you want to not have that, but then they know you're going to buy it because of those feelings. So I don't think the V8s are going anywhere. If they do, it's pretty dumb because just an inline six against the V8, you're not gaining any gas mileage. It's not any better mileage. So yeah, I think it's just a ploy. Let's see. Hope you got a sponsor for Metal 3 printer. That'd be nice to have a Metal 3 printer. I could do a bunch of stuff with one. I need to buy me another just normal 3D printer because my big one, it's been broke for about, I don't know, probably about 6 months. I could have fixed it, I guess, but I'm just gonna buy. They're so cheap. It's just easier to just buy a brand new replacement and then just stick the other one in like the non-working 3D printer room and just like let it sit there. And if I ever need parts or something, I could build something off of those 3D printers eventually, which I probably won't. They'll probably just end up sitting there forever. I used to have a lot more time to do like that computer techie stuff and you know, build stuff and program stuff, but now since I do YouTube, it's like I have zero time to do any of that other stuff. Are you sending the Magnum to SEMA 23? I'll probably, I don't know. I could take it there. I've already talked to Magnaflow, and Richard said that if it's done, I could take it, which it's obviously going to be finished by then. And I don't know. We'll see. It might go there. I was talking to a guy at the Battle of the Builders, and he said that I should try to enter it into that. So we'll see what happens. And I guess that could happen because it seemed like a lot of cars that were in booths also went to the Battle of the Builders too. So might happen. We'll see. I don't know. It's a long way away. It's like a whole year now. For the next car, it would be fun to see you transforming a Porsche 911 all-wheel drive, no matter the year, into a 911 Dakar Baja style. Are you in? I don't know. I mean, there's already a few of those done. I kind of want to build. I don't know. I kind of want to finish up some projects, but I also kind of want to build like a completely custom car that isn't actually like a, like Dodge or, any of those other brands. It's just like something that I think of and I just make it. And then it'll just be, 100% like me, which would be cool. Which the Charger is cool, but I just have like a few ideas that I've had bouncing around in my head. When will you resume work on the Durango? So, like I've said before, I have been waiting for the paint, and I thought I was going to already have it by now, but there's like a toner shortage situation. So they can't make I guess they can't make like any green colors, which the Pulsar color is like a green color sort of, and the Durango's a green color. So hopefully I get that paint soon, because literally all I need to do is spray a bunch of brand new panels and put it together, which I want to put it together because I have all this crap laying, all these brand new parts laying all over the shop, and cars taken apart take up a lot more room than when they are together. So that's another reason why I want to get a bunch of projects done, because the more projects I get done, the more room I have, because I have less parts laying around and more parts together in cars. So yeah, that's another reason to finish a bunch of these projects. So I have more room for more projects, but more room for more project cars, so I could do those cars. But I want to do them so they're like quick, kind of, not like quick, but like not a million projects going on at the same time. And it's a lot nicer just doing one at a time. But if I just did the Charger, so the one thing about it is, if I would have just done the Charger by itself this whole time, I don't think I would have gotten it done any faster. And then I would have, I don't know, I've done a lot more. So I wouldn't have done the GTR, I wouldn't have done the Jeep, I wouldn't have done the Grand Prix, I wouldn't have done like the 300ZX or the Subaru or, any of those other things, because, and probably the FC, I wouldn't have done that. Just like a bunch of stuff, because then I would have just been 100% focusing on the Charger. But I don't think it would have gotten done any faster, because a lot of this time I was waiting and I was doing other projects was when I was waiting for parts for it, like all the sheet metal and all the body parts. That was like a whole, I think it was like 6 or 8 months for that stuff. And then, it's just a waiting game. But the paint, when I painted this car, there wasn't a paint shortage, so I got all the paint and everything was quick for that. Plus I had to move shops, and I had all kinds of other stuff that happened that, this year coming up, I think I think it's just going to be like busting projects out, because last year, or, this year, it's almost over, but let's just say, consider this year last year, because this year coming up, but it was just like so much stuff was going on. I didn't, show a lot of the stuff that happened, because I didn't want to like call people out and stuff like that, which I thought about making a video about it, because it would be pretty good, but then it'd probably benefit the person that it's about more than it actually, people would just be like, oh, who's this person? So not making a video about that, but there's that. And then I had to move shops, and then I had to move everything out of the junkyard to actually use the junkyard shop, because they had all their stuff in here for like 6 months. So everything's in here now. We'll have like just pretty much 100% like full steam ahead this year coming up. So I think it'll be really, really nice. And I actually thought about buying this building, but it's kind of like, so I thought about buying it, but I don't want to have to move again so soon. I want to finish some projects first, but it's kind of a cool, it'd be kind of a cool deal. It's like in like this town the town has like a population like 2,500 people, but it's like a 65,000 square foot warehouse. And it has like all these up like bay cranes and stuff in it. It has like, it's like sectioned into multiple things. It has like this huge like office section, which I'd probably turn into a house, but at the same time, it's like 400 miles away from here, and I'd have to trailer everything, pretty much everything up there, except for like the Hellcat, the GTO, my truck, the 300ZX, the FC, pretty much anything that's at a house or at the other shop, I wouldn't have to trailer. But then it's kind of like in the middle of nowhere, and anything that I need, I have to order in, which I pretty much do anyway. But so I don't know. Plus, I don't know how the internet is there, and I would just like literally be going from like a whole year of dealing with moving stuff to like bringing myself into the like a new year of just like having to move a bunch of stuff. So what I'd rather do is get a bunch of stuff done. So like the charger runs, the the FD runs, the pulsar runs, pretty much everything here will run and drive, and then I'll start worrying about trying to find something similar, which it would be awesome, because that'd be all the, and it's on like 25 acres that's all fenced in. It would be like everything that I'd ever need, but it's just too soon. I've just almost finished moving stuff, and I don't want to just run myself into a whole nother situation of moving, which if you guys haven't, I think everybody hates moving. It's a pain. Let's see. Dave, do you have the Copart F250? I've never had a Copart F250. Okay. On your next project, can you show how you prep bodywork and paint your vehicle? Would love to learn how to get into doing bodywork. Yeah, I probably could do a video like that. I'll probably be doing some stuff, I don't know, probably with the Pulsar would be a better video, because it's more, I don't know, I have a bunch of stuff that I need to paint. I'll figure out a video eventually and do it, but it's not really that difficult, especially when you're doing like brand new panels, like the hood that I need to paint for the charger. You just literally get some like gray Scotch Brite, get some scuff stuff, you run a hose on it, scuff it down, wash it off, let it dry, and then you pretty much paint it. It's pretty simple. Like body work is a little bit more difficult, because then you have to make sure, if you have a dent, you have to pull it out, make sure it's flat, skim it a little bit, and then body work it from there. But yeah, I probably could do a video. I don't know, probably won't be soon, but it'll be eventually. What's your thoughts on building a 60s, 70s muscle car using newer tech platform? That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I'd have to find some stuff and go from there, but it could be a project that might come up. Let's see. Hi from England. What's going on? Let's see. Dave, can you get a custom VIN on the Magnum? So I'm just gonna run the factory, the VIN that came with the car, which is the Charger VIN. I was trying to talk to so in Colorado, you have to talk to like the state patrol about like kit cars, which was technically what I was trying to get a VIN for, was like a kit car. And I talked to the state patrol and I told them like, you know, I was like, well, I have like started with the Charger, which is a clean title car. And then I told them that I used like 5 other cars and, I had the titles for them, but I think like 2 of them were like a certificate of destruction car. And then he was like, you can't register that car because it's like, it was built with certificate of destruction parts. I was like, what are you talking about? And I didn't tell him like what the car was or anything like that, but I was like, that makes no sense because I literally, as a salvage yard, you buy certificate of destruction cars and then you sell the parts off of them to people to use on their cars that they drive on the road, which is pretty much what I did with this. And well, not really, because most of the stuff was like custom, but I don't know. It was just like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, which, you know, it is government stuff, so that pretty much makes sense. But yeah, I'll just, you know, I have a clean Charger title for this. I'll just register it as a Charger and just go from there. I just wanted it to have like, I think with like kit cars, you have like your own VIN number. So it'd be like whatever it is for the state of Colorado, and then it'd be like 0001, which would be kind of cool. But at the end of the day, you know, I'll just register it as it is, and it'll be, I think I paid, what did I pay for the Charger? I think I paid like $1,500 or something for the Charger when I bought it. So my registration, like my tags are going to be based off like $1,500. So they're going to be like $30 a year or something, which is stupid. But yeah, I don't know. It would have been cool, but you know, there's, I don't know. Sometimes it's just doesn't make sense. The stuff that, yeah, I don't know. It's just stupid. Let's see. Can you Elephant swap the Magnum? Elephants aren't really that great. Did you get the oil furnace to stay on longer? No, I actually cleaned that elbow because it wasn't all the way full, but it did have quite a bit of stuff in there. So I cleaned that out, cleaned a bunch of other stuff, and I haven't messed with somebody said that there was a flame sensor, and I haven't messed with that yet, but it fires up. So I don't think the little eye that's in the center that squirts the oil out is an issue, because once you reset the button, it literally fires right up. So I don't think that's an issue. I'm guessing because there's so much buildup, maybe the flame sensor or whatever it's called is just like, maybe it has like some buildup on it. I just need to clean it off or need to get a new one, but I need to mess with that a little bit. And I really haven't had time because I've been cleaning the shop up and getting it ready for some stuff. After you're done with the Magnum, can you make a 10-minute or something building a... yeah, so that's the plan. Once the car is done, I'm going to do like and it's going to be the longest... it's going to take so long to edit because there's so many... So I'm going to have to... It's like 100 videos that I'm going to have to pull stuff out of. But it'll be a really cool video because it's literally going from like a stock Charger to what it is now, which will be really cool. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna wait until all the interior stuff's done because I'm still not done with like what I'm gonna do with the interior. But like once it's running and driving and you know everything, you know, I'll wash it and I think and the exhaust is done and all that stuff. I think there'll be time for that video. But Yeah, it's and I still need to do the dash and some other stuff, but yeah, that video will be pretty cool. I've been planning on doing that for quite some time. Okay, is it difficult to remove the center console on the Magnum? I think the clips that hold the radio bezel fell under the console. It shouldn't be. It should just be a few bolts. I mean, I think they only have like 4 bolts holding them down. Greetings from New York City. Question: your last video didn't have much luck with the 3D scanner. Were your plans? Hold on. Were your plans were to use that on the interior dash, and what's the progress on that, or leaving that last? So I need to get the dash done, but yeah, the plans for the 3D scanner were to scan the fuel tank area so I could make the fuel tank, to scan the dash, and to scan the wing, and to scan those grills so I could open those up and make them more functional, because I need, I think if they had more airflow going into them, they would, well, for one, they would look better on the grills, and for two, they'd let more air go to the oil cooler, and then more air on the other side to go to the other heat exchangers. So I need a 3D scan all that stuff to get the car done. Plus, I want to also 3D scan, the whole, like the quarters of the car, because eventually, it's only a matter of time. I'm going to drive this thing around, and people drive so bad. So if I ever, if anything ever, the quarters get damaged or something like that, then I could go and have a mold cut and then just make a complete carbon fiber quarter panel, and then it'll just directly match the roof, which then I'd have to make another roof skin, because to do the quarters you have to pull the roof skin off. So hopefully it doesn't happen, but I want to plan ahead just in case, and hopefully by the time the car's running and driving, I could then just drive it to a place that 3D scan stuff, unless I eventually get one. I've talked to a few companies. I was supposed to be getting one from a company, but I don't know what happened. It sounds like a lot of companies are laying people off, which is kind of weird. Not weird, but kind of sucks, because a few people that I work with in marketing in different companies have been laid off, and I've had to like make a new connection for like those same companies, which at that point it's kind of a pain, because you're already working with the company, but then you have to like start the whole thing over again. So yeah, we'll see. I need to definitely get that stuff 3D scanned though. Hi Dave, have a great Thanksgiving. You too. Regardless, keep up the great work. Been a fan since the start. Thanks. Badass wagon. Love the color in it. A wagon you would be awesome. I'd Dodge. Hold on, awesome. If Dodge actually makes one, yeah, that'd be tight. What is that? Perlion? I don't know what that says, but okay. A bunch of cats. Tight. Hey, do you know any good mods for a 351C? No, I don't know. I'm not sure. Greetings from Las Vegas. Can't wait for the station. Welcome our wagon to finish. Love and respect. Thanks. Could I just bring you my car and you do the work? I mean, I guess I'd charge to have the work done, but I mean, I'm always working on stuff. So, and I don't know, it's kind of far away though. Ohio and Colorado. That's the issue, is like people always message me, want me to work on their cars, but then I'm like in Colorado, so it's like so far away from most of the people that need stuff done. Let's see. I'll probably get a pair from Costco, base model Magnum, Inferno Red. like your Challenger. Nice. Let's see. Hey Dave, the 23 Toyota 4Runner have a full-time four-wheel drive or something like that. Those 4Runners have a strong four-wheel drive system. Huh. Hi, big bro. What's going on? I'm officially caught up with the Rampage vids. Nice. Yeah, I want to get the car running and driving. It's like I've been wanting to do this for like since I started the project, but we'll see. I almost think that I should have like sometimes I feel like I should have just got the all-wheel drive stuff done first before I did any of the body work, and then had it running and driving. But at the same time, it's nice that the body work is already done and it's already a wagon because it looks cool. And once it's running and driving, I don't have to worry about doing it because then I'll just be able to, like, once this thing starts up and I could drive it and I have alignment done and all the other stuff, it'll be done and I'll be able to like enjoy it, cruise it around, and then I don't have to worry about like, oh, now I have to turn this thing into a wagon. So, you know, it would have been cool to have it already driving, but at the same time, it's cool that it's already done. Let's see. It would be great seeing you entering into Battle of the Builders. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. Why do a Mercedes chassis just build it from scratch? You need a challenge. That would be kind of cool. So I was also thinking that I'm pretty sure my cousin in Germany works for AMG, and I was almost thinking about like messaging him and being like, I think he works for AMG, or maybe he works for like BMW, like the M division or whatever. But I was almost thinking about being like, hey, can you, because I know they still make all the sheet metal parts for the Gullwing Mercedes. So if you be like, hey, can you send me all the sheet metal to put one of these together? But yeah, I really want to do one. I think it'd be cool to have. I don't know. It'd be hard to decide what engine and transmission to put in one because there's just so many cool things that you could do with it. Like the Mercedes V12 twin turbo engine would be cool, or like a Hellcat swap would be cool, or you know even like you could do all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's like the I don't know. I'd really have to think about it really like hard and long to decide. And probably even after that, it'd be cool, but you'd still be like, man, I wish I would have put like, if I put a Mercedes V12 in it, it'd be like, man, I wish I would have put a Hellcat swap in it or something. But maybe eventually I'll figure it out. Let's see. Let's see. If you have any car to make a project on, what would it be? I don't know. Probably the Mercedes or the, like a Pantera. I've been saying that I want to do a Pantera for a long time, but finding one that is worth, not making original is kind of hard. Dave, send your vehicles to a professional, then it's quick and taking less space, just like the 23 Dodge Charger Magnum Hellcat wagon. Do you think you'd be able to convert the new Charger into gas-powered vehicle and take the battery out? I mean, I don't think it'd be that difficult to do, but at the same time, those cars are going to be, well, it kind of depends. I know Dodge's like reliability with electronics is very poor, so there might be a lot of broke down ones. which might make it really nice to scoop one up and put a Hellcat swap in it. But yeah, I definitely don't want to buy one off the showroom floor and then throw a Hellcat swap in one, because it's not going to have, it's probably not going to have, like, I don't know how they're going to mount any of the subframes in the front, and the rear is going to be all weird. But knowing Dodge, they're probably just using a Charger platform, so you could just bolt all the factory subframes in, because, you know, they don't really like changing much when they design new stuff. What kind of truck do you have? I have a F-350. Dave, how do you keep going with the price of products and upgrades? Hold on. How do you keep going with the price of products and upgrades to your business? I'm not sure what you mean. Ever entertained the idea of doing a fan build, meaning having one of your viewers bring a project in and you both work on it? So I kind of did that, but then I just have the subscriber's car sitting here still. He's supposed to send me the wiring harness to fix it, but I don't know. Hopefully he sends it soon. So, I mean, that kind of was. It'd be a lot nicer once the charger's done. But I've had this idea for probably like 3 years. I've been wanting to do it, and that's just kind of like go across the country and kind of do that same thing. Because most people that watch the YouTube videos and stuff like that and subscribe, they're not going to want to bring their car down here, and they're really not going to have time to, stay here for like a week or however long it's going to take to finish their car. So, yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, but finding the right person to do that, and then, finding somebody that doesn't, when they bring the car, they're going to have to know that they're going to have to, I guess, have all the parts ready, or be able to buy all the parts to have, to finish the car, and not just have it sitting around. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it can't be something that's going to be like a forever project or something like that. Let's see. What makes the Elephant not so great? So the Elephant is just it's pretty much a red-eye engine, and they just do a few little things to it where they change. I think they change I think the board's the same. I think they just change the stroke. I think the rod length is the same too. But it's not like they upgrade. So if I'm going to build it, so a Elephant engine, I think they barely can handle. I think 1,500 horsepower on them. It's pushing it, and they blow up. But the engine I'm going to build for the Charger is going to be a 426 still, which is technically what a Elephant is. But I'm going to build it to handle 2,000 horsepower, and I'm going to run it at 1,500 horse. So I don't have to worry about it just being completely maxed out all the time. You always want to build stuff so it has that, that cushion. You don't want to just be pushing it to the max all the time, because it's not, it'll work, and it might, you might get a year out of it, or or a couple a season, go to the drags and get a season out of it. But for longevity wise and being able to drive stuff across the country, you don't want to be and actually do road week or something like that, where you do, a bunch of different tracks, and you're actually trying to set good times, and push the car, but you don't want to be pushing the car and then blow it up and then be like in the middle of nowhere and then have to figure out, how you're going to get this car towed back to your house or something like that, because then it turns into like this big nightmare. But because you can't just take your car and have it towed to like a local shop, because everything is custom on it and they're not going to be able to fix it. So it's elephants are, I don't know, they're not a great engine for, I think people sell them for like thirty or $40,000. For $30,000 or $40,000, you know what kind of engine you can build? You could get like a brand new block. You can get all like forged crankshaft, forged rods, like I-beam rods. You could get forged pistons, like everything. You can get CNC heads, which the elephants don't come with. You can get like a mild cam. You could get all, titanium retainers and aftermarket 660 springs, like more than you're ever going to get. And you probably only spend like 15 grand or maybe like even 20, but you'd still be like way less than what Dodge is trying to get out of these engines they're trying to sell. It's just crazy that they're trying to sell like I don't know why you'd buy a elephant engine. Like, it doesn't make sense. Let's see. Let's see. Greetings from Belgium. What's going on? Just moved to Alabama already. I don't know. That's even a further drive than the 400 miles or whatever to that shop that I was showing you. So, I don't know. That's a long drive. That's a lot of stuff to move. I don't think your wife would be happy if I made you help me move all my stuff down there. Keep up the good work. Happy Turkey Day, Dave. Looking forward to the next video. Till next Q&A. Thanks. How about a Dodge Turbo Interceptor? Add a Hellcat. Then you have the wing doors low and cool. What? I think people mainly do it for the warranty. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've heard so many bad things about people trying to get Hellcat stuff warranted at the dealership. It's just like the biggest nightmare, because then they're like, oh, well, it was like, they'll like say you like put like mid pipes in it or something, and they're like, oh, that voided the warranty, or like you put an exhaust on it, like the stupidest stuff. And I just feel like if you have to pay $20,000 more, you could just build two engines and then just have a spare when the other one blows up or something. Like I don't like, it's just a lot of extra money just for like a warranty. Hey Dave, do you know of a manual all-wheel drive transmission other than BMW's that would be good for swaps? I know GM makes, I think there's like an adapter for so you get the Corvette I think it's either a T56 or they might have made a TR6060 version. And then you just bolt on a transfer case because it has a spline shaft that comes out of it. So you just bolt the transfer case onto that, and then it's all-wheel drive. I think the transfer cases are like an aftermarket thing. I don't think there's a stock transfer case that bolts up to it. There might be, because it's Chevy stuff. So they might just, you might be able to use like a truck one or something. But yeah, I know there's a bunch of aftermarket solutions because people make stuff all-wheel drive all the time with like, I think it's like, I don't know if they made a TR6060 that, maybe they did. I can't remember if there's a TR6060 that has like that spline shaft and then it has, bolts onto the, there's like a back housing that bolts onto it. But either way, I know the T56 has that. So, yeah. Buying the new engine packages Dodge is offering. Just got done building a 426 and I am close to 20K. Yeah, see, I mean, that's not bad. So it's it's just, what do you want to do? Do you want to have like Dodge's warranty, or do you want to save like, and then that you built it, and I don't know, depending on how good you are at building engines, or how particular you are. I mean, then that if it blows up, you'll probably know what happened to it. And instead of it just being a mass, they made a bunch. I think they made, what did they make? 3,000 of those engines, and they made them pretty quick. So they just like slapped them together and got them out the door. And obviously they're going to be fine, but it's not like, it's just like a production engine. It's not, I don't know. To me, it's like just one of those things where you take the time. It's not something like, I don't know, the GTR engines were all like hand built engines, sort of, but I don't know. All new stuff. Hell yeah. Okay, is in the SS Trailblazer. I want to swap my E92 with an LS and keep it manual all-wheel drive. That'd be kind of cool. Because I know the TR6060s, so if I wanted to, the TR6060 has a bell housing that bolts to a Hemi, and then if worse came to worse, I could use like a GM transfer case on it. And I don't know if they're on the other side though, but that might actually be nice if they were on the other side, if I had like a stock Charger all-wheel drive, because then all the transfer case and stuff would line up with the factory, transfer case drive shaft tunnels. So, yeah, I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. Just have to take your time. Yeah, I mean, the thing with building engines, and the thing I've always done is, there's, measuring. A lot of people I know, I have a bunch of friends that do this, and they just like trust Plastigauge 100%. And they don't measure anything. They just like, oh, it's a stock bore piston, and then they just slap it in, and then it like, either the rings butt up against each other because they didn't check ring clearances or any of that stuff. They'll do like, they'll build the engine in like a super cold shop, or either or, and they'll be like, I don't know why this engine blew up. I don't know why I threw a rod out the side of the block. And if you don't measure stuff, you're never going to build. Like, Plastigauge is just a check after you measure everything, you order the correct bearings, then you measure the bearings after you torque down the main caps and the rods and all that stuff, and then you figure out your clearances, and then if you have to sand those down a little bit, then to get the correct clearance. I mean, then you check it with Plastigauge. You don't just like, I just know so many people that are just like, oh, Plastigauge, it's good to go. We got 1,000 horsepower engine, throws a rod out the side of the block, and then they're like, I don't know what happened. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Yeah. Keep up the awesome work. Thanks. Let's see. What's the best aftermarket rebuild for a Magnum RT front suspension? Um, I think like the best upgrade that you can get for like the older Magnums and the 300s and all those older like Chargers, Challengers, etc., is just to go find some Scat Pack Bilsteins. I have a bunch of them like right here, like these. Just these Scat Pack Bilsteins and the Scat Pack springs and throw them on your car. And unless you want to go like super low or change the ride height for like a factory ride height that's a little bit lower, this is like the best suspension setup that you can. Not the valves. Don't get anything with valves if you don't have a way to control it, but just like the Scat Pack stuff, just throw it on your car and it's going to ride 100 times better. It's going to handle better and it's going to be like just a little bit lower. And it's like the best upgrade that you can do on like the older Chargers, Challengers, Magnums, 300s, etc. So, and I really loved how it rode when I had it on the Magnum, when I had the Scat Pack swap, and it was like way better than the SXT stuff that was on it. And it wasn't like Hellcat ride. The Hellcat's like electronically dampened crap, which at the same time kind of sucks. So yeah, I just try to find some Scat Pack struts and just throw them on your car, and you'll probably be really happy about it. I have some for a Ford Mustang 2019. Oh, man, it's already been an hour. I need to I don't know if I want to pull that tranny apart today. I kind of do, but I kind of don't at the same time. It's what time is it? I wonder. It's probably like 2 or something like that. But I need to put these lights up. I need to get the stuff so I can get this thing on the ground rolling, which is going to be pretty tight. Can't wait to finally see the Charger on the ground. Can't wait. Can't wait to finally see her on the ground. Can't wait to have a front windshield in the car either. That'd be really nice. And the other hood on here. I don't mind this hood, but since I have the intake, it doesn't really make sense to leave this hood on the car. So I need to do that. I need to finish the ABS wiring. And the reason I haven't done that ABS wiring is because so I kind of ran into an issue. It's not that big of an issue, but it's just kind of irritating. The Durango ABS pump module is different positions. The lines are in different positions than the Charger and Challenger ones, so I'm just gonna have to modify the lines so they fit on there, and then I could get all this wiring out of here, which will be nice. And then this wiring, I'm gonna do this when I put I need to get some headers and put those on, and I'm gonna drop the engine down, do that wiring really quick, put the headers on, and then put it back up. Should only take like a day to do that, and then I could do all these hoses for the heater core and all the lines going back to the HVAC system. But yeah, she's getting close. Can't wait to have all this finished up and done finally. Let's see. It's one beautiful ride, great color, great lines. Can't wait to see her rolling down the strip. I can't wait to actually see her like cruising down the road and just like, I don't know, just like just driving, just like, I don't know. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait. It's gonna be very interesting driving it instead of working on it. you still have your Hellcat Challenger? So yeah, I drove the Hellcat Challenger today, but um, like I've been saying, I need to do a giveaway on the Challenger, but I haven't really done anything to get ready for it. Where do you get your cars? IAA? Yeah, I don't know. Most of the time it's either IAA. Sometimes I get stuff from Copart, but I really don't like Copart because they always dick you over. And yeah. Do you have any parts for a Ford Mustang? Not really. I mean, they have some parts at the junkyard up, next door, but I don't have any Ford. I've never owned a Ford Mustang. So, oh man. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't have any parts. Hi, what's going on? What's your favorite ride? I don't know. I like my 240Z, but there's a lot of work that needs to go into that. What's going on with the Acura? So I haven't really messed with the Acura. I still, I never was able to get a title for it. So it's just kind of been sitting. Plus, I haven't really worked on much else besides the Charger for the last, whatever, 6 months or whatever it's been. So there's also that. So once the Charger's done, I'll be able to work on other projects and kind of just like get some quick stuff done instead of just being 100% focused on this and not really worrying about any of my other projects that I have that I need to do. Let's see. 88 from Cape Town. What's going on? So it's been a little bit over an hour. I need to get some other stuff done. I'm going to end the live stream. And I don't know if I have a video for tomorrow. I might have one. I might not. I'm not sure yet. But thanks for tuning in. And I'm sure, hopefully by the end of the week, once I get that stuff from Send Cut Send, the Charger will finally be off the lift so I could put all my LED lights up, and then we'll get some other stuff finished up on her, like the exhaust and stuff like that. So until Monday or next time or whenever I post another video, see you guys.